Hello, Intactivist. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea really where to begin this. The Bloodstained men have disappointed me so deeply, and it's really horrible, all the things they've done. It's been one heck of a week for the Bloodstained men. I can't even explain their actions to you anymore. Like, it seems to me they have the mentality of 13-year-olds. I think the Bloodstained men got way too big for themselves. I don't think Brother K or any of them were supposed to be leaders in this movement. They were supposed to be like sign holders at most, and they kind of fell in a leadership position. And now that they have the audience this week alone, I would make the argument they have hurt Potts, Forefront, and they very well might have hurt Intact Global with how they're acting. And let's just jump straight into this, I guess. First issue this week is the Bloodstained men. They stole from Prevail of the System and Carter Steinhoff, the person from Forefront. So right here was Potts's post that we released to go ahead and prevent circumcisions. This was a paid advertisement. And if you read up top, it says, "Why is it that in America, people make fun of baby boys getting circumcised instead of stopping this cruel act? Laughing at mutilated baby boys isn't edgy, it's deranged." You can see right here at the Bloodstained men, they copied this verbatim. Why is it that in America, people make fun of baby boys getting circumcised instead of stopping this cruel act? Like, same poster, same everything. And they not only stole from Potts, but they went ahead and they tried getting people to donate to them, which is literally what Potts is against. We're against inflicting financial damages on people that were physically and sexually damaged. Like, we try to reduce as much as possible. And the Bloodstained men, obviously they don't care about our wishes. We told them to stop multiple times. They do not care. And this doesn't just steal credit away from Potts. We've been over this a lot. And Darren made this, actually. Darren made this. And Bloodstained men blatantly just don't care. And they're going to steal. And they're going to go ahead and beg for money and take from you guys. And I just think that is the audacity of doing that is wild. Like, how can you be such a huge organization and yet you're going to trample on your smaller ones? Like, once again, there's no credit to Prevail over the System or the person who did it. And this leads me to believe that when Brother K from Bloodstained men took Carter Steinhoff's video, yes, it says Carter Steinhoff, Phoenix, Arizona. This is on YouTube, where Carter Steinhoff is from Forefront. Literally, they could have tagged Forefront in it to go ahead and boost Forefront up. And if you're debating if this was stolen, you can go to the Forefront podcast. This is the exact same closed captions right here. So you can see that right there, that it's stolen. And Forefront has 49 subscribers, while Brother K has well over 3,400 subscribers. Clearly, he does not want Forefront getting bigger, which is interesting because in my mind, I feel like Forefront and Bloodstained men kind of have like the same ideology almost, at least with their desire on what they want to happen to circumcisers and stuff like that. But I'm appalled that this is how Bloodstained men are not only just treating Potts, but also Forefront. And horrible leadership, because they really don't want smaller intactivist groups to grow. And not only did the Bloodstained men go ahead and just steal from smaller intactivist groups, they went ahead and they promoted Intact America's post. This post says, "He can't say no. You have to do it for him. Say no to circumcision. Intact America." Now, honestly, if you know anything about Intact America, you know that Intact America will censor your logos and steal your stuff, just like the Bloodstained men steal stuff. And also Intact America, about 40%, if not more, of all the money they make goes into management fees. So why is the Bloodstained men promoting a group that almost 50% of all the money you give them goes into like their own pockets? Like, this is a horrible strategy, and this was just yesterday too. The Bloodstained men did this. So like, there's no excuse for this anymore. Like, I don't understand why we're giving Bloodstained men such a pass for the mistreatment of smaller intactivist organizations while they are shilling for donations off stolen intellectual property rights, and then also promoting Intact America, which definitely has their own flaws. Even James Lowen, who is a board member of Bloodstained Men, has spoken out against Intact America, which leads me to believe that there is a conflict of interest here with the Bloodstained Men making correct strategic decisions. Like, I want to know what's the strategy in any of this, because this does not make any sense. And of course, the Bloodstained Men, they're still promoting just circumcision content. Like, we're not talking like circumcision bad. We're talking also circumcision good, or those who try to stop circumcisions are weird in some kind of way. Like, for instance, this post is what Bloodstained Men and their friends posted.
Health Secretary RFK Jr. said this week that men who were circumcised are more likely to be autistic, which isn't surprising coming from a man who looks like he's made out of foreskin.
Not mine.
Like, why would Bloodstained Men post this? Again, making the intactivist movement look really cringe. Like, that was obviously a slam on RFK, which most intactivists feel that that's going to help intactivism. But yet Bloodstained Men will promote this. And their blind followers like this 33 times. Like, I don't understand this. Like, somebody give me the strategy, and why was this liked so many times? Again, this is from Brother K, Bloodstained Men.
Challenge on circumcision. People who focus really seriously on circumcision do it because they are desperate incels obsessed with losing a bit of your foreskin. Debate people, I want it to be about something that actually matters, not circumcision.
So literally, why would Brother K from the Bloodstained Men post this week about, oh, hey, yeah, you're an incel for trying to protect babies from circumcision? Like, why would you post this? Again, no, what's the strategy? Please, somebody explain this to me, because I don't see any. Now, I've already covered these topics before, right? So I'm not going to spend too much time on them. But here's a brand new thing that happened, and this is where I'm drawing the line with Bloodstained Men, because this has a very good chance of screwing over Intact Global. The saying is that history repeats. I typically say that history doesn't necessarily repeat, but it definitely has parallels, and Bloodstained Men might screw over Intact Global because they have no self-control when it comes to being diplomatic, period. Recently, Max from Brahim did a interview with former AAP members, Andrew Friedman and Douglas. One of the quotes was from Andrew Friedman was, maybe the AAP should get out of the circumcision business since it's not really a medical practice. It's only a medical procedure in the sense that medical professionals are performing it. And even Douglas, who has an MD, the task force bioethicist, reflected, when you look at all the data, I don't think you can honestly say in a recommendation that the benefit outweighs the risks. While not advocating a ban given the practice's religious importance, he added, I also don't think pediatricians should be recommending it. So literally, this is great news. Everyone should be celebrating, right? Well, what does the Bloodstained Men start doing? The Bloodstained Men says Dykema and Friedman, which is Douglas and Andrew, tried to escape the judgment of history for their role in the disgraced 2012 statement by the American Academy of Penis Cutters, AAP. They also say it up here too. But are you kidding me? Literally two people that came from the AAP, they were former from the AAP, that made the circumcision statement, hey, you know, the benefits outweigh the risks. Now they're going back on it, and the Bloodstained Men are antagonizing them instead of trying to encourage other people from the AAP to take their stance. Instead of being like, oh, this is a brave thing for you to acknowledge that what you put out in 2012 was wrong, and trying to encourage them more, they're like, oh, they're just trying to escape the judgment of history. Okay, sure. Do you know what a real leader would say? A real leader would say what Dr. Sanchez says up here. A remarkable and welcome reversal from authors of the infamous 2012 American Academy of Pediatrics circumcision policy, right? That's what a leader would have said. It would have been like, hey, we're welcoming people to reverse this, versus Bloodstained Men, which is pretty antagonistic. And if you don't think they're trying to be antagonistic, Look at this. Bloodstained Men in October 24th at 6 p.m., 2 days ago, says, breaking news, Andrew Friedman confesses the AAP was wrong. We already read this stuff. But if you go up, this is what the Bloodstained Men post. They post this comic here. The circumcision industry of the most powerful lobby inside the AAP. None of the timid pediatricians will publicly oppose it or admit that circumcision is unethical, cruel, and worthless, even though that's kind of what two of the former AAP people did. Now, here is where things become quite problematic pretty quickly. If you go ahead and look at this comic, actually, we're going to make sure that people... I waited for this long, by the way, because I wanted the people that are kind of like pro-cuttery to get off my thing, because they're probably bored at this point. Like, oh, this is just about stolen ads. We don't care. So now that we're further in the video, we can talk about this. Look, guys, a comic about this is stupid, because what happened last time to Intactivists when they tried to ban circumcision in San Francisco? Somebody went ahead and made comics just something like this, kind of, and it caused issues. It says, archive, foreskin man, anti-circumcision comic called anti-Semitic could sway San Francisco vote. And then this article here, San Francisco, California, ADL, anti-circumcision comic book is anti-Semitic. And a lot of people are blaming this comic book for why there was no ban in San Francisco. Now, you have the Bloodstained Men making comics about the AAP that are literally turning back their policy a little bit, like they haven't renewed it, and Intact Global is trying to go ahead and ban circumcision in Oregon, and Bloodstained Man thinks that's a good idea to go ahead and make a comic about a religious figure, the devil, holding the AAP circumcision benefits, trying to go ahead and like force Dr. Smith, this fictitious pediatrician, into accepting the quote-unquote circumcision benefits from the AAP. Now, look, I'm not dumb, and I don't think you guys are either, and it's not too far of a jump to be like, oh, wait a second, could this be misconstrued as anti-Semitism? Yes, I feel like it's pretty easy for you to make that jump. Right here, this here is Andrew Friedman. This was on the Sex and Circumcision, An American Love Story by Eric Klopper. He's Jewish, right? We know he's Jewish. And as Eric Klopper points out, everybody on this board here was Jewish, the masterminds behind the AAP circumcision recommendation. So bringing in like the devil, like, oh, hey, the AAP that recommending circumcision is literally the devil. Yeah, that could be pretty problematic when you're trying to fight, religion and you're calling them satanic. That's probably a horrible idea. And again, instead of welcoming the change like a real leader would, like Dr. Sanchez, they go ahead and they make a stupid comic about it, which again, they knew that they were changing their minds. So when they posted this at 5:46 p.m. and they posted this at 6 p.m., right? They had 5 hours to think about this, but they went ahead and posted this. I don't know why they went ahead and did that. I think this was stupid. I think there was no reason to go ahead and do this. Who are you even appealing to? Like, what mom who is on the fence about maybe should I circumcise my kid or not is going to see this and be like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, nobody knows what you're talking about. This wasn't about protecting children from being circumcised. This will not influence a single mom, a single dad. This was about pandering to your intactivist homies to go ahead and get them to donate to you. That's all what this was. And honestly, what could have happened from this is that if anybody from this new lawsuit case that, Eric Klopper and Intact Global is trying to do gets a hold of this comic, this could cause irreparable damage. And I think, again, this was about them feeling clever and them somehow getting some weird justice from this comic, and has nothing to do with protecting children. And if you think, oh, you're blowing this out of proportion, already it says on Jewish Insiders, the war on pediatrics ward inside the American Academy of Pediatrics battle with anti-Semitism. This was released this year in February 14th. So this is very recent. So already the AAP is having to deal with anti-Semitism, supposedly. Like, what are you doing? Like, calling the AAP the devil, essentially, is perhaps the worst thing you can do right now. what this has the potential to do is to go ahead and close minds off and make people afraid and fearful of being labeled as negative titles, and it closes off the communication, which right now Intact Global needs the communication to increase because they're doing a lawsuit right now. And again, the Bloodstained Men, they're not trying to be diplomatic. They have no intentions on being diplomatic. That is not their intentions. So they have a war mentality going on, and with no strategy. That's even worse, having a war mentality with no strategy. Honestly, guys, the whole purpose of the Bloodstained Men is based on instigating. Their whole protest strategy is meant to disrupt, shock, and disturb. The Bloodstained Men, they're not about peace. We need peacekeepers and diplomats in the intactivist organizations now. Like, for instance, POTS, we have cut deals with multiple companies like eBay, Amazon, X, and so much more. And, even Gaudaf can bare minimum be diplomatic. Your whole baby's diplomatic. Bloodstained Men, they're going to continue fighting the AAP. And honestly, I think that there needs to be some strategy with the Bloodstained Men. And I understand, yes, they started out as sign holders. Brother K was never meant to be a leader. You have this brand new leader here, David Atkinson. I don't even think he's supposed to go ahead and be a leader because I'm not sure if he knows what he's doing being a leader in this movement. Honestly, but the thing is he has it. And the issue is he speaks for us. And he has a louder voice than any other intactivist group, in my opinion. And the fact of the matter is that they went ahead and not only hurt POTS and Forefront, but they could very easily hurt Intact Global's success now because people can easily interpret comics any way they feel like. And this is an even bigger and more riskier move by Intact Global because they're trying to ban it in Oregon, the entire state. San Francisco was just a city. So I support Intact Global a hell of a lot more than I do Bloodstained Men right now because the Bloodstained Men, I don't know what kind of tactics you're doing, but it needs to stop because at this point, I have people thinking that you're just wanting to continue to cause problems, and that's all what they want to do is go ahead, make a scene, get a rise out of people, and they get off to that. And honestly, like 4 issues in a week, I think Bloodstained Men are too ignorant to help Intactivism. I think they're just harming Intactivism constantly now. I think that David Atkinson owes us answers like right now because he's the leader right now. He's the president. He's the CEO. He needs to go ahead and be the president and CEO and make a statement on what the heck the Bloodstained Men's trying to do because I'm surprised there's not more outrage about this, to be quite frank with you. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry if this was a little bit rough because this wasn't very scripted all that well. And let me know if I'm being overdramatic or what's going on. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll continue this down in the comment sections.
Prevail over the system. We rise through precision. Uplift transition.